Hey guys, it's Tori here. So today I am doing a long-awaited review on Bring Me the Horizon's new album, Amo. This has been the buzz album of 2019. I know we're only in January, but I think this is gonna be one of the biggest rock albums of the year. Personally, I've been following Bring Me the Horizon since I was in high school. They were one of those bands that first introduced me to heavy music and screaming and breakdowns when Suicide Season came out. I wanna say I was in maybe 8th grade. So I've been following them through this steady progression from Suicide Season through Sempiternal and now here we are with Amo. So if you kind of think about the slow and steady progression of getting more experimental and adding more electronic elements to the band and things like that, suddenly the pop direction of Amo is a little less surprising, but I don't think it's fair to say that they are no longer a rock band because there's clearly a lot of influence from metal still in there. They have Danny Filth on their album, for crying out loud. So with that being said, I do want to dive into this a little bit more because this is easily one of their most polarizing albums. This album has kind of divided music fans a little bit, and I'm definitely on the end of the spectrum where I do enjoy pop music. I've been listening to a lot of different stuff outside of metalcore for many years now, so to me, Amo has been very refreshing. Even though it is very different from Bring Me the Horizon, there's still those little characteristics of the band that are so undeniably them that they've kept through this album. If you look at songs like Medicine or Fresh Bruises, for example, they're way more poppy. Upon first impression, seem nothing like what Bring Me the Horizon would release. But they also still have that unique juxtaposition where it's very poppy but also has that looming gloom and doom sense. That still remains true regardless of the genre that they decide to incorporate into their music, is that they do have that contrast of happy music with really sad lyrics and vice versa. So two of the songs that I think are personally my major standouts are Nihilist Blues and then Sugar, Honey, Ice, and Tea. That's a really long name, I'm still trying to remember it, but I think we got it. I think that was right. But those two songs to me were by far the standouts where just upon that first impression, I was hooked. Nihilist Blues is very electronic, it has Grimes on there, so you know it's gonna be a little more like industrial sounding, and it still has a very dark edge to it, so I just envisioned myself like on a dark dance floor with some laser lights, just losing myself to the music. And I was lucky enough to actually see Bring Me the Horizon just last night as I'm filming this video, the day of their album release, and it was absolutely unreal because they played that song live and just as I expected, just lost myself in the music. I think some of these songs too, where if they don't hit you hard when you hear them on the album, definitely go see them live because it does bring a new life to the songs. And Sugar, Honey, Ice, and Tea, that song to me is kind of what every Bring Me the Horizon fan was hoping to hear on the album. It does have that hard rock kind of influence that some of the other songs are lacking, so where if you are more of a rock fan and into that side of Bring Me the Horizon, that might be one of the songs to check out first. And I also kind of have to take my word back on something because I first did a written review of this album where it's a way more in depth than the video, so if you want to see that, I'll leave a link in the description. But on my written review, I wrote it the night I heard the album for the first time, and I said that the weakest track on the album was Mother Tongue, and I gotta tell you guys, it's really grown on me. Especially after hearing an interview with Oliver where he was kind of explaining that that song is if you took the emotion of falling for someone for the first time, where everything just seems more beautiful, more happy, life is great. If you took that feeling and bottled it up, that's what Mother Tongue is. And also, I realized that there's a bit of a nod to Portuguese and his wife who's Brazilian, and I also am half Brazilian, so him saying Fala Amo is a little bit of a special touch to me as well. So that song has grown on me a lot more and is definitely becoming a standout track. And this is normally the part of the review where I would start to list the songs that I thought were duds that just didn't stand out to me the way the rest of the album did, but I'm gonna be real with you guys, I don't have any duds. Every song is so different and has its own unique personality and characteristics that it's really hard to say that there's a song that I don't like because I thoroughly can listen to this album front to back and enjoy every bit of it. I will say I'm personally just not a fan of filler tracks or interludes and things like that, But after reading an interview with them, I kind of understand why they did it, because they had so many creative ideas for songs on this album, and the interludes are kind of not only a transition between songs, but it was also a way of exploring more creative ideas without having to commit to the full structure of a song, because obviously songs have structures. They go, you know, chorus, verse, bridge, blah, blah, blah. And the interludes were a way of them to kind of not have to do that and get more creative with it. So I respect the fact that they have them there, and I don't hate them. I just usually feel like it's kind of a waste of a spot on a track list, but that's the only negative thing I can really say. And I am gonna be real with you guys though. As much as I love this album and I'm raving about it, I feel like Bring Me the Horizon still hit their peak when they released Sempiternal. I was such a fan of that album, and I will never forget the moment I heard Can You Feel My Heart for the first time. That intro was so powerful, and I kind of, since then, every time Bring Me the Horizon releases an album, I'm just chasing the high of that feeling of hearing that song for the first time, and I didn't really have a moment like that on this album, which bums me out. And Sempiternal is also just a groundbreaking album for them because it was the first time that they really started to experiment. So I always hold that album very close. And actually, when they played live, they didn't play anything older than Sempiternal. So I think they even realized that that was a turning point of their band. So to me, as much as I love this album, I don't think it was the peak of their career by any means. But I do think, although as a longtime fan, it's not their best album, I think this is the album that is gonna impact and reach the most people. It's gonna be diverse. You're gonna hear these songs on the radio, and I think they're gonna be a bigger band now. Like, everything is gonna be uphill for Bring Me the Horizon. Their appeal is gonna be wider, and they've definitely gained a new fan base from this release. I will say that I don't think it's fair for me to compare Sempiternal to Amo because those are just two completely different beasts. So if I can separate my thoughts here and just look at them as individual entities, Amo is still an incredible album that's gonna be a staple in my music collection, and it's definitely a new favorite of mine. I haven't stopped listening to it since it came out. So it really isn't fair for me to say, well, Sempiternal was better for this reason, and Amo and this and that. Like, they're both incredible albums in their own right. And another perspective about this album that I kind of want to bring light to is a lot of metal fans or people who used to listen to them when Pray for Plagues was their biggest song are kind of saying that Bring Me the Horizon are abandoning their roots, which I just don't think is the case. I think they're expanding them, if anything. Think about the fact that there's going to be fans who hear Bring Me the Horizon on the radio for the first time and hear Medicine and say, wow, that's a great song. You know what? I'm going to go see their show. And those people who may have never listened to metalcore or heavy rock music before are going to be exposed to bands like their openers that are out right now, Fever 333 and Thrice, staples of this scene. I mean, Jason Alon Butler has been around for years and years, and same with Thrice. And so those people who never used to be involved in this scene are suddenly a part of it, and it's growing and expanding. And as much as we want it to be this little niche, it's just not feasible for the bands that we love to continue if they don't have a wide audience. So Bring Me the Horizon is bringing a lot of exposure and kind of bridging that gap between the heavy music world and the mainstream music world, which I think is a beautiful thing. And I feel really thankful to have a band like Bring Me that's gonna reach that mainstream audience and spread the word about our scene. So yeah, if you went into this album expecting Count Your Blessings 2.0, you're obviously gonna be very disappointed. And in that case, just go ahead and enjoy the song Heavy Metal on this album because it's definitely very snarky and poking fun at those people who say, hey, you're not heavy metal anymore. Because Bring Me doesn't care. They're unapologetic and they are owning their experimental side because that's exactly what they wanted to do with this album. They wanted to throw everyone off. They wanted to start a whirlwind and start a discussion about music and creativity, and they've done it right. On the other hand, if you're somebody who's open to different genres of music and wants pop, electronic, rock music in a beautiful full-length album, then you're in the right place and Amo's gonna be the album for you. So I'm excited to hopefully see Bring Me the Horizon and their success with Amo just spark even more creativity in the rock music world to not have any boundaries, to try out all different kinds of genres and incorporate all of your inspirations and ideas into one and not be afraid of what people think, because that's when you succeed. And those are always the best songs, the ones where the artists are doing what they do best. So those are my thoughts on Amo. Please comment below and let me know what you think of this album. Subscribe for more videos and I'll catch you next time. Bye!